Hello dear students, hope you all are doing well at your home and preparing for exams. So we have started with unit 6 from web technology, and in that we are at the last session, and the point is advanced technology. So in last session we have started the JSF. In that we have seen what JSF, that is Java Server Faces, are, and what are its benefits, what are the features, then the architectural point, and the component based technique of JSF. So all these things we have seen. Now we are going to start with the life cycle of JSF. So JSF application life cycle consists of 6 phases, which are as follow, like restore view phase, apply request value phase, that is process events, then third, process validations phase, again it is related to process events, update model value phase, that is again process event, and invoke application phase, that is process event, and last is render response phase. So all these 6 phases are making a JSF application life cycle. Okay, so these 6 phases show the order in which JSF process a form, or JSF processes the form. Then the list shows the phases in their likely order of execution with event processing at each phase. And the things of this life cycle can contain, the first is restoring view phase. So this restore view phase is for beginning the restore view phase as soon as a link or button is clicked and JSF receives a request. Okay, so JSF begins this restore view phase after a link or button is clicked and JSF receives a request. Then during this phase, JSF builds the view, wires, event handlers and validators to UI components, and saves the view in faces context instance. So in faces context instance will now contain all the information that is required to process a request. Okay, so this is about the first phase of this JSF life cycle. Okay, that is restore view phase. So main thing about it is, this is the first phase, and when a link or button is clicked by the user, JSF receives the request and this phase is started. So in this phase, the view, wires, event handlers and validators are generated by the JSF to UI components, and in the faces context instance, the view is saved. Now that entire information regarding the processing of request is available to faces context instance. Now it will turn into second phase, that is apply request value phase. Okay, so after creation of or restoring of component tree, the decode method is used by all the components to get their new values from request parameters, and the values are stored by the components. Okay, and on failure of conversation, an error message is created and queued on faces context, and in other render response phase, this error message is displayed with the validation errors. So if the render response is called by any of the decode methods, then what the event listeners will do, the event listeners on the latest faces context instance, then the JSF shifts to render response phase. Okay, So if the render response is called by any of the decode methods event listeners on the latest phases context instance, then the JSF shifts to the render response phase. So third phase becomes process validation phase. So in this phase, all the validators which are registered and on the component tree are processed by the JSF. The component attribute rules are examined by JSF for validation purpose. Okay. So this during this phase of process validation, what JSF will do, it will process all the validators that are registered on the component tree, and it examines the component attribute rules for that validation and compares these rules to the local values stored for the component. So if the local value is invalid, JSF adds an error message to the phases context instance, and the lifecycle advances to the render response phase and displays the same page again with error message. Okay. So and then it starts with the phase 4, that is update model values. So after the JSF checks that the data is valid, it walks over the component tree and sets the corresponding server-side object properties to the component's local values. So what the JSF will do, when all the data checked by JSF is valid, it goes to the component tree and assigns a server-side object properties to local values of components. Okay, so server-side object properties are assigned. Then JSF also updates the properties of bin analogous to the value attribute of any input component. Okay, so what it will do, it will update the bin properties corresponding to the input component's value attribute, and if any update model method is called methods called render response on the current phases context instance, then JSF moves to the render response phase. Okay, so again it will move to render response phase if any property update or JSF bin analogous to value attribute of input component is called. So if the render response is called by any of the update model methods, then the phases context instance then shifts to the render response phase. Okay, so it will again shift it to the render response phase for rendering that expected response. Okay, then invoke application phase will start. So during this phase, JSF handles the any application level event such as submitting a form or linking to another page. Okay, so it is the invoke phase. It is just for invoking and like submitting form or linking anything. Okay, means it is working or the work is getting started with this invoke phase. Then a render response, that is the final stage. Okay, so during this phase the application is using JSP page, and then the JSF tells container or application server to render the page. Okay, so JSF container or application server will render that page if the application is using JSP pages, and for initial request the components represented on the page will be added to component tree as JSP container executes the page, and if it is not initial request, the component tree is already built, so components need not to be added again. In either case, the components will render themselves as the container or application server transfers the tags in page. Okay, so as the page is executed by JSP container, what it will happen, the components which are represented on the page will be added to the components tree for initial request, and if the request is not initial, then there is no need to add the components again, as the component tree is already built. So when the JSP container or application server go through the tags in page, the components will render them, and when the view content is rendered, then response state is stored so that it should be accessible to the subsequent request and get available to the restore review phase. So this is about render response phase. So its main thing to do is the response state is saved so that subsequent request can access it and it is available to restore the view phase so that output can be displayed. So this is the final phase of this JSF life cycle, and if we are thinking about what the JSP and JSF are differentiated for, like if you are talking about the parameters, like definition wise you are seeing the JSP is a text document which comprises two types of text, like static data and dynamic data. The static data can be represented in any text based format like HTML, XML, SVG and WML, and the dynamic content can be expressed by JSP elements. So and the Java server faces is a MVC web framework that explains the construction of user interface. So for it is used for server based applications using the reusable UI components in a page. So I haven't mentioned it on the slide itself, but just for information I am giving you the differential points between JSP and JSF. So file extension for JSP is it is saved with .jsp extension, while in JSF .jsf extension is used. The MVC pattern of this architecture, the JSP is not a request driven model view controller. It is accessed by dynamically created web pages like HTML or XML. But JSF, we have seen just now, it is having backing bin model, and it is MVC architecture. So JSF view moreover faces servlet controller, and the tag attributes handling point as per the difference between JSF and JSP. Like JSP, in JSP every tag attribute need to be declared in TLD file, and while talking about JSF, tag attributes are fully dynamic and automatically mapped to properties, attributes, moreover value expressions of any UI components instance. And rich faces support for JSP is it does not support any rich. Hello students, now we'll see how to create that JSF application. Okay, we have seen so many things related to JSF. We have seen its architectural benefits, then features, okay, that are added to JSF, and then we have gone through life cycle of JSF. Now we'll see how that JSF application is actually created. Okay, so it is a simplest task. Just you have to add it with some forms and creating project, just like your any project that is built in Eclipse IDE. Okay, so we'll see it with the points that are covered here, and just see how to install it in the your web project. Okay, so we'll start. to create simple JSF application, we will use Maven architecture or Maven archetype web app plugin. And in the following example, we will be create same Maven based web application project in C JSF folder. So for creating project, first step will be create project. So let's open the command console and go to C:/ and JSF directory and execute the following mvn command. So that mvn command here is mvn archetype : create. Then after running, it will open the things that are related to that command. So it will open dg group id, that will be for this site it is taken from tutorials point test, so it will show the group id from that only. Then the that fact id, that is hello world, and dar, that is the archetype of artifact id, that will be Maven archetype web app. So Maven will start processing and it will create the complete Java web application project structure. So you can see in the diagram, like it is scanning for projects, it is again searching for repository plugins, okay, that are starting with archetypes. Then it is building the Maven default project, okay. So many things are there, and it is also using the parameters for creating project, like group id, value, then packages, plus artifacts, base IDs, versions, and all other things. So after compilation and the build is successful, and it will show you the total time taken, that is about 7 seconds, and it will show when it is finished off and the final memory of that particular build. So all these things will be shown whenever you create that project and run that mvn command, okay. So simple text you need to write, that is mvn archetype : create, okay. So you have to just run this command and you will be starting with your creating project. So now go to your C:/JSF directory and you'll see a Java web application project that is created now, and it is named hello world as specified in artifact id. So artifact id is holding your project name, okay. And Maven uses a standard directory layout as shown in the screenshot. So you can see there is a source directory, okay. So all the files related to sources will be stored in the standard directory layout, okay. So using this example, we can understand the key concepts of like hello world, that will contain source folder and pom.xml file. Then source main web app will be containing web information folder, that is web.inf, and index.jsp page as well. And the third main point regarding this is source main resource. So it will contain the images or properties and files, like whatever are related to projects. So in the given example, we need to create this structure manually, okay. So because we haven't provided any built-in technology here, we are just adding the library files. And then next point is to add JSF capability to project. So for this, we need to add this following JSF dependency code in our file. So this dependency is given, and that we need to complete into pom.xml file. So that pom.xml file is will contain under source folder, okay. that is in hello world. So you just need to open that file and paste that dependency code at the bottom of pom.xml, and after that you need to prepare the Eclipse project. So now the dependency code is also pasted in the pom.xml. After saving, just close it, and let's open the command console again, and go to c:/jsf and hello world directory, and then you need to execute the another mvn command as eclipse, that is mvn eclipse eclipse space dash dwtp version. Okay, so in that the hyphen d will be capital, so hyphen dwt version equals to 2.0, so you have to mention that version, and then again as expected Maven will again start processing, and it will create the Eclipse ready project, and it will be added WPP capability. So you can see it is downloading the Maven Apache from the Apache page, and then it is searching for repository for plugins with the prefix Eclipse, because we have provided in command itself we need mvn eclipse and eclipse dwtp version. Okay. So version also we have provided, so according to version all the files and the libraries that are under this version will be downloaded automatically, and after that it will show you whether the build is successful or not, and it is successfully done, and it is showing total time taken for build. So after this, so now that project files are downloaded, just we need to import them into our main project. So what we'll do, we'll just follow some steps like import that project in Eclipse using import wizard, and go to file, import existing project into workspace. Okay, because we have already started that project with name hello world. Then select root directory to hello world, keep copy projects into workspace to be checked, and after that just click finish button, and Eclipse will import and copy the project in its workspace, that is c:/projects data and workspace. Now we need to configure faces servlet in web.xml. So we need to locate that web.xml in web app and webinf folder, and we need to update it just as shown, like the code should be written to web.xml file. Okay, so just then we need to add that web app application, and after that we'll create a managed bin. Okay, so this managed bin we have seen in the architectural part. Okay, so managed bin will come under category of model part, and the managed bin is created with create a package structure under source, then main, and Java as form. Then as we are seeing the example from tutorials point, so it will be the tutorials point again, and the test. So all the things that are shown in the screenshot are followed strictly. Okay, so we will create hello world.java class in the package and update the code of hello world.java as shown in the diagram. So we have just included package, okay, and included javax.faces.bin and managed bin. So at managed bin we have added all the things and all the code lines. Okay, so we just need to update this code in helloworld.java file. After that, just click and save that file and create a JSF page. So for creating JSF page, we will create a page home .xhtml under web app folder. Now we will update that code of home.xhtml as shown below. We have just added JSF tutorial as title, and in body we have added the hello world.getMessage function. Okay, so it will be saved at that JSF page. Okay, and this is done with the project. So now for building project, the things to be followed are: select hello world project in the Eclipse, use run as wizard, and for that you just need to right click and run as Maven package. Then the Maven will start building the project and it will create hello world.war under c:/ it's a project data workspace hello world in target folder. Okay, so it will scan for the project and check which project should be built in the successful way. So test, if there are any tests to run, it will show, but in this project we haven't given any test, so it will show just message as there are no any tests to run, and the result will be 0 because there is no any test. And after that we need to deploy the war files, and the war files deploying can be done with just stop that Tomcat server, copy that hello world.war file to Tomcat installation directory, that is web apps folder, and start that Tomcat server again. Now just look inside web apps directory, there should be a folder hello world got created, and now hello world.war is successfully deployed in the Tomcat web server root. So now all the steps are done, we just need to run that application. So enter a URL in web browser with the name given here, and to launch the application we are ready to go. So server name, that is localhost, and port is 8080, may vary as per our Tomcat's configuration. So we can see the output as hello world in our first JSF application. Okay, so these are the steps to be carried out for executing the JSF application. Okay, so it can be asked in exam for 6 marks, but till now it is not being asked, but for your information I have given you how to create project using JSF. So this is enough for today's session. Okay, so in advanced technology we have seen bootstrap and JSF. In next session we will continue with the most important technology, that is Spring. Till that, just revise things, or you can just have a hands-on on these steps, and till that, just take care. Thank you.